Welcome back into Studio 318 here in Paul Miller Journalism Building at Oklahoma State University. You're listening to the Border Battle with King and CJ on Suddenlink Channel 112, YouTube Live on demand, Border Battle on demand, or Facebook.com/Border Battle Show, or OSU Student Radio KXCY. Chris, saw there Jim Irsay very happy, obviously, to have Frank Reich as the head coach. We'll get to him in a second. First, I want to talk about a polarizing player in the NFL. Goes by the name of Baker Mayfield, Chris, or as he told Dick Vitale, some people are calling him Broadway Baker if he goes to New York. Interesting. Should teams be concerned with his antics, Chris?
I think a little. I think they should have some concern. I don't know if it's, if it's something that should, radar should be going off, emergency radar type of thing, but it's definitely something you need to, to keep watch of the past antics that he has done, especially with this past year. But at the same time, I don't think it should fully hinder him. It's not like yes, the whole arrest in Arkansas, I get that. And that's where the whole Johnny Manziel comparison came from. But, it's just antics he's done on the field. I don't know. I don't think it's as big of a concern as maybe people think it is.
Not on the field, off the field.
Well, I'm saying he's off the field, the planting of the flag at Ohio State.
I don't mind any of that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't think so.
Do you care that in a press conference this weekend, somehow he was given a podium in the press conference room, which is kind of a weird setup, but we'll let OU do what they do. He said, I hate Texas. People telling me to calm it down. I'm not going to do it for Texas. So what is Baker Mayfield going to calm it down for, and should he calm it down? That's my question.
So you're asking me if him saying the stuff about Texas was good or bad?
Bad. I think it's bad. What do you think?
Hey, if he has
NFL teams in his ear telling him to tone it down,
with that sense, yes, he needs to tone it down. But his whole beef with Texas or whatever it is, the state, whatever. Hey,
I have no problem.
I don't have an issue with that. He walked on as Texas Tech and then he went to Oklahoma. Whatever personal vendettas he has against Texas, you have a right to speak out. So yes, you need to take advice from GMs, owners of professional teams that are looking to draft you. You need to take that into account. But at the same time, I don't know, let him get his 2 cents in every once in a while.
Yeah, I don't care as much about saying that, but when you go through a timeout and you're going like this to the crowd, is that really what you think people want to see?
No,
because I think that speaks to immaturity. Yeah. I don't think that speaks to a chip on your shoulder, because I want to make this distinction. I like Baker with a chip on his shoulder. I like players with a chip on his shoulder. I don't like immature players, okay? I don't like dudes that act like they're still 18 years old. And that's what Baker acts like. I'm sorry, he does.
Right, and I think part of the issue, I'm not going to defend him with that, the horns down, all that stuff to the crowd, because this is your job. You are potentially, you're applying for a job, so to speak.
Yes,
you need
absolutely.
To be a professional on the field, especially, don't absurd gestures to fans, whatever. You can point if you score a touchdown,
don't grab
whatever.
Your junk.
Yeah, exactly. But now I feel like I've lost where I was going with this.
I'm sorry, I messed you up.
No, you're good. But this sense of, I think sometimes too, with him being such a high energy guy.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying defending his immaturity thing. I'm not doing that. But I think sometimes Zach gets part of it. He gets so hyped up that he's not thinking before he speaks. He's so hyped up. So he's got his energy. So he's going to do the horns down to the crowd or whatever,
and you can get, by the way, you have
to hold that back. I get it. You have to be able to, hold in some of that. And I understand that. But at the same time, if he can't control his fiery passion for the game or his competitiveness, you have to figure out, do you take the poison pill, so to speak, and, do you try and be like, hey, you can't show emotion? What do you...
No, I'm not saying you can't show emotion. I'm saying there's way to hype up the Lloyd Noble Center without doing this and sprinting around the court like a madman. There's ways to do it other than that.
Maybe that's all he knows.
I know, Chris. I get that. I understand that. But there comes a time. Guess what? When I was 17, 18 years old, I was still doing stupid stuff because guess what? It's all I knew. Did I have to get rid of that? Do I have to get rid of that before I get a real man, big boy, put on my big boy pants, put on the overalls, Chris? Do I have to get rid of some of that stuff before I get a job?
No.
In the real world? Yes, I do.
As long as, hey, if it's something that you're doing on your own time, the thing is, it's so different because the NFL is like you're always watched.
You have an image, no matter what profession you're in. You have an image, whether it be with your coworkers, the public, your family, whatever it is. You have an image.
To an extent, yes.
Yes, and you have to at some point, especially when you're a celebrity and when you're going to be one of the most popular people in that city, you have to give up some of this stupid stuff. You have to give up all you know. You know, because if all you know is working hard and doing what J.J. Watt does, which do I believe J.J. Watt kind of, does he post more stuff on Instagram than he needs to about him working out? Absolutely. Absolutely. He has this macho man sort of persona that he's created by posting a lot of workout videos. But is he a hard worker? Absolutely he is. There's no denying that. You see from where he came from, a walk-on at Wisconsin, to being the best player in this era defensively for a lot of people. And you see that transformation. He obviously is a hard worker. So you have to, if that's your persona, if that's all you know is working hard, fine, you can do that. It's things that are negative to your personality, things that are negative to your image, that you have to try to tone down a little bit. Right. That's like saying, Johnny Manziel, we know you like to go out and party, but that's all you know. So continue to do it in the NFL. How'd it work out for him?
Yeah, he was out in 2 years.
Out in 2 years. Now he can't. He's trying to play like
Canadian
football or XFL. That's where he's gonna be now. So I understand there's this, you can't act like someone you're not, but to a certain extent, when you're in the public image and when you're leading an NFL franchise that's paying you millions and millions of dollars, you have to clean it up in some way. Is that fair to say at least? It
is. So let me ask you this then. Is it fair for, let's say, Johnny Manziel, for instance, for his whole partying thing, and I don't want to get too much into this, but is it fair for execs not to really give him a second chance because they're so concerned with his behavior? Has it changed? Has it not? Because sometimes I feel when these players, like what Johnny's going through, I get it, RG3 has a whole attitude issue and stuff.
You don't want distractions on your team.
Right. But, now Manziel was in the league for 2 years. He's been out for, 2 as well, right? Something like that, give or take. Is it fair then to be like, okay, you know what? We don't trust he's changed. You blew your chance.
Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely, that's fair.
So you don't think a person should get another chance?
No. You cannot play with someone else's millions of dollars and give it to someone because you think they've changed. If an NFL exec says, okay, fine, we buy into your change, fine, they can do it. But I'm not paying him millions of dollars and saying, you know what? You said you've changed. It looks like you changed. Here's $1 million. Here's your 2-year, $14 million contract. Is that outrageous to say?
You're saying it's too big of a risk because
Absolutely.
of, like you said, with the amount of money. If it was, a couple $100,000 or whatever, it'd be a little different, I guess. To me, anyways.
Yeah.
Which it also kind of shows the issues with NFL contracts compared to other sports. Because, in NBA, if you're someone on the bench, you only get $750,000 a year, maybe, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That was.
So, let's look at where Baker's going to get drafted. And these are early mock drafts. These are going to change as we go into free agency and stuff. But, 3rd overall, that's that. I don't really like that mock draft because it has trades involved. And I think mock drafts that involve trades are stupid. But he has the Redskins coming up and trading to get him 3rd overall to learn behind Alex Smith for a couple of years. Then you have a couple 6th overall. That's to the Jets. 4th overall, that would be to the Browns. And then 21st overall, that would be to the Bills. So, here's my thing about Baker. Baker, you're going to end up at 21st overall or later if you keep this up. You just are. Because I understand that there's so many quarterbacks out there and you want to get a young one and all of this. The draft's the best way to get a quarterback. I understand that. But you have to remember, Kirk Cousins is out there. Nick Foles is maybe out there if you want to trade. Case Keenum's out there. He just took his team to the NFC Championship game. I know that these aren't premier quarterbacks, but they're less of a risk than drafting Baker Mayfield, aren't they?
No, yeah. And I think to your point with the whole financial thing, is Baker. You got to realize this is their pick. Like if it's a third, a number 3 pick in the first round, like this is a lot of money at stake. A lot of hype. If if you're, no one wants to risk a third, their third pick on a potential distraction that's going to just blow everything up.
Exactly.
But I think he's going to fall like the 21st, and that I think he might kind of like. I think John
Manziel was like 24.
20, or 22. So in the 20s. So I could possibly see that because, like you said, that which organization is going to want to take that risk a number 3, number 6 even pick on.
I think he'll get drafted in the top 5.
You do?
Unless he continues doing stupid stuff, I think he's going to be a top 5 draft pick, and I think that's why he's got to clean it up, because as soon as you get into camp, like I said yesterday, if you're playing the Denver Broncos and you run off the field going like this, Von Miller is going to make it his personal vendetta to ruin you in the next possession. Oh, yeah. That's the way NFL works. You show me up, get ready.
It's a respect thing.
Get ready. Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not showing your opponent respect, especially as you're a 22-year-old, 23-year-old rookie, you're going to run into problems in this league. You just are. That's the way it is. So we got to talk for just a second about Frank Reich. He comes out and talks at his introductory press conference, and he's talking to the media, and they're like, well, you're going to call plays, because he's an offensive-minded guy. Never called plays at Philly. Obviously, that was done by Doug Peterson. And he said, yes. I put a question mark at the end of that because he's like, it's going to be a collaborative effort, but you need one voice. So it comes down to there's got to be one voice. I'll be that voice calling it on game day, but it'll be a collaborative effort. He's talking about like putting together the game plan, stuff like that. So are you okay with this, Chris? Because here's my problem with this. It seems a little wishy-washy. If you're my head coach, I want you to say, I'm calling plays. It's my fault if it's wrong. I want it to be like Andy Reid. If I'm not even calling plays, I want you to defend Matt Nagy. Hey, or is it Matt Nagy? I believe. Bill Nagy.
Yep.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Like
the new Bears coach, where he'll inevitably slip off in an anonymous nature. Anyways, after that Titans game, what did Andy Reid come out and say? They said, well, were you okay with the play calling from Matt Nagy? And he goes, the good plays were called by him. The bad plays were called by me. That's what you want from your head coach. And that's what I wanted from Frank Reich right here. Look, if you have a problem with play calling, it's me. I'm calling plays, no one else. Here he's saying, yeah, but it's a collaborative effort.
Right, so it's a shit. And I don't know if it's saying because...
To me, it just looks like he's already pawning off blame a little bit.
Yeah, but I think part of it is because that's all he knows is he was an OC. I think he's trying to still feel, he's got a new offensive coordinator in Nick Sirianni as well. That I think it's just he's trying to figure out, okay, how does he be a head coach but yet be an OC? Like, I think he's just stuck in that realm at the same time. I think that's part of his issue.
Yeah, I think so, and I think I hope for the Colts' sake he's not like just drunk on this new power and saying like, look, it worked for Doug Peterson in Philly, and that's where I was. It worked for him to call plays, so that automatically means that I should be able to call plays as well. So we'll see if that works out that way for him. I'm excited to see what happens, especially if Andrew Luck is healthy next season. That's going to be a fun division to watch. Young players, good quarterbacks. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. OU decided to end a 70-year tradition. We're going to tell you what it was and what it means for the Bedlam rivalry. We'll make sense of all that next on the Border Battle on KXZY.